Hey guys, Corey Guevara here, editor-in-chief of 26 Men's Luxury Magazine. Today we are launching our very first episode of 26 Magazine TV. Today we have creativity royalty here, Mr. Sirjon.
Thanks, man.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for being here with us, man. So guys, imagine, doing Viola Davis's makeup and Joan Small's makeup and then Beyonce's makeup. This is incredible. We have him here. He's going to be with us for his shoot. He's doing a feature shoot with us here at 26, and we're so excited to have him.
Wow, I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you, man. So, we like to play games here at 26. We like to have a good time.
Okay.
We're all about luxury and living your best life.
Yeah.
And so, can we jump into some questions?
Let's jump into it. Let's do it.
All right. So, tell us, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So where am I from? I grew up in Buffalo, New York, upstate, 10 to 15 minutes away from Niagara Falls, Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you go to Niagara Falls a lot as a kid?
All the time. I mean, going to Niagara Falls for us is like going to Brooklyn from someone who's from Manhattan. Yeah.
Gotcha. Fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. It was fun at the time.
I'm making it out to be way too much than it is.
They have good food up there. That's about it.
Well, you can't be good food. So cool. So what was life like growing up for you?
Life like growing up. I mean, I've been in school for art since I was 6 years old. My mom got me into art and basically pushed me through that, and I went to a performing arts high school. And I mean, did the whole printmaking, studio and art. I went to college for art history. So for me, it was one of those things where just following my passion sort of led to another thing, and beauty happened organically, and here I am.
Here you are. Wow. I think people ask you this all the time. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Is Sirjon your actual name?
Yeah, so my birth name on my birth certificate since 1982 is Sir John Barnett, yes. My grandmother named me. All my uncles are from the Marines or Navy. So my grandmother wanted to commemorate her brothers, and I'm the first grandchild on both sides of the family. So my mom, she had me very young. And so they sort of sat at the kitchen table and thought of a name, and they thought about Sir John. And it was a tough childhood. I had it really rough as a kid. And not so much from children, but from teachers and educators who's like, well, I'm not gonna call you that. You're not royalty. I'm not gonna call you Sir John. And I'm like, well, that's what my mom named me. So she'll be here in school tomorrow to talk to you.
You don't want to call her my name. What's that about?
Yeah, so no, this is not a stage name. I didn't make this up because of the business. I would say, no, I'm not trying to impress anyone that much. So this is my name, yeah.
That's your name. See, that's the thing about names, man. They're really important because your namesake has led you.
My namesake is actually, my namesake is a little one who's a few months old, actually. No, I don't want to say that. But no, I've been lucky enough to feel blessed to have my name. I really like it. There wasn't a point where I hated it and wanted to get rid of it. Yeah. But to me, it's like Joe, or it's like, Michael. Right. Because I don't know any difference. I've never had another name. Yeah.
But it's an awesome name. I mean, you walk into a room and people call you sir. So thanks, Mom. Thanks, Grandma.
Thanks, Grandma. Yeah. Miss you, Grandma.
How did you discover your love for makeup?
Man, how did I discover my love for makeup? It happened completely, it was on accident. So it wasn't something I sought out. I was basically in school for art history in Atlanta, and I was a friend of mine, she was a model, a catalog model. So she said, hey, listen, Sir John, can you come to the shoot with me just to keep me company today? And so I went to the shoot, and I was just sitting there. I had a sidekick. This is back in the day. You can tell how long ago that was. And she's like, the makeup artist was like an hour late. So who does that sound like? No, I shouldn't. But no, I'm joking. The makeup artist was an hour late, so they're like, hey, listen, do you mind sort of painting her face? Do you mind? I heard that you're an artist. I'm like, well, I'm not a makeup artist. Right. I don't know what that even means. Right. And so then the photographer said, hey, listen, I'll give you $250 if you can do this. So I looked at her makeup bag, and I sort of painted her together. And I mean, looking at it now, it wasn't what it should have been or could have been, but it was the first job I did. And then he asked me, can I come back the next Saturday, do the same thing for the same amount of money? And so I'm like, is this a job? Is this a thing? I was 18 years old. So then he told his friends about me at MAC Cosmetics. And then I got hired at the MAC Cosmetics store, transferred to New York at the age of 20 because I had the highest sales or whatever in the Southeast. And then I sort of got thrown into that whole world. I got fired at 23 at MAC from being late. And then I met Pat McGrath's assistant, and then things sort of started to turn. Before I met Pat McGrath's assistant, I quit makeup altogether, and I started to do the windows for Bergdorf, Barney's, and I became the men's merchandiser at Gucci for a while. Wow. So on my lunch break, I met this guy named Yadim. So Yadim is a major makeup artist in the fashion industry.
Random lunch break, you're meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was a buddy of mine in MAC when we were really, really young. Okay. So he's like, hey, listen, man, I'm working with this lady named Pat McGrath. And next thing you know, I'm at the show, and she's asking me, am I going to be in Italy 2 weeks later for the Italian shows? So I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. Of course. I had no passport, no money to get there, but I made it work, and I found a way.
Yeah.
And then my first show was Dolce & Gabbana, and then she took me to Prada. And then like 60 or 70 shows that season. I met Naomi Campbell. She was my first celebrity client. Wow. And then that's how sort of everything started along.
That's amazing. You know, I always talk about in a lot of my editor's letters about trusting the process, and always, you know, one of my mantras in life is all things are working towards my highest good.
Absolutely.
And by that, usually I mean, you know, you might get a left turn one day, you might get a right turn, you might get a red light, a stop sign, whatever. Yeah. But if you have an intention, and if your intention is to, let's say, just be successful at something that you love to do, the universe will take you there. I mean, you just have to get into the flow, you know what I mean? Organic, everybody's life has a flow, everybody's life has a stream. Yes. And if you can align yourself with that stream and just get into the flow, it'll take you to exactly where you need to be.
Listen, speaking of what you're talking about, I don't want to get too deep, I'm getting chills, but I live my life by that. It's called vibrational alignment. Like, vibrational alignment is basically being in alignment with what you want to receive. It could be a cup of coffee, it can be a parking spot, it can be a multi-million-dollar contract, it could be a home, it could be a husband or a wife, you know, but basically making sure that you are vibrating on a higher level. So sometimes it becomes imagination before it becomes real. Yeah. But listen, you don't see Wi-Fi, you don't touch Wi-Fi, but you know it's there. Yeah, exactly. So it's about having faith, you know. Yep. But I don't want to go too much in that direction. But literally, the reason I'm in front of you is because I was in alignment with what I wanted.
You got on the frequency of it. That's it, man. Listen, here at 26, you know, another one of our mantras is that you turn your thoughts into things.
Absolutely.
Period. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I think definitely that's what you're doing. I think that's what I'm doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? This was once an idea. I just had an idea one day, and I wanted to create a space where we celebrated creatives like yourself. I'm a creative, you know what I mean? And I know how valuable that recognition is. Yeah. I know how valuable it is to create jobs for other creatives. Absolutely. And I wanted to create that space. So that's how come 26 even came about. And so it's true, we do turn our thoughts into things, you know, and we have that power. That's why it says creativity as a driving force.
Wow.
Because it's real stuff, people.
That's so
you can manifest your dreams. Dude, look. That's so he does Beyonce's makeup, people.
Among other people.
Among other people.
Too, yeah. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Tell us about your dues. Like, everybody pays dues in this industry.
Wow, yeah. Man, I pay so many dues. And the thing is like, you know, you can't lead until you can effectively follow. So you can't be a great leader until you know what it's like to intuit the needs of that guy. You know, so I was the best assistant. Like, I used to assist Charlotte Tilbury, I used to assist Pat McGrath, but I made sure that I was the best assistant, and I made sure that if they needed coffee, I'm going to get coffee before they want it. If she's going to reach for a Q-tip after she's done applying eyeshadow, I'm already going to have it in my hand. I'm going to make sure as soon as we get into a venue and there's a show, like, she's set up, and my whole thing is I need to create a need for myself. I need to create a destination for myself. I need to be a destination. Right. So, and that happens by outshining everyone else who is taking a break or who's just chilling. Yeah. I might not be the first in the door, but I'll make sure I'm the hardest working when I'm there. Yeah. And with a smile on my face, because I want to do it, you know, and not because it's like, you asked me to do it, so I'm going to walk slowly. No, I'm going to run. I'm going to have a sense of urgency. Yeah. So if you're stressed out, I'm going to look like I'm stressed out. I don't necessarily always need to be, but if you're under it, I'm going to be under it too, you know. But so paying dues for me, I mean, sometimes I was working in the fashion industry, and you're making like Assistant Charlotte on a cover for Vanity Fair with Mario Testino or whatever photographer, Annie Leibovitz. You're only making $50 as an assistant that day, or $70 or something like that. Wow. So, you know, even after a long week of work, I was only making like $300 or $200. So I found a makeup artist who's a friend of mine. Shout out to Marissa. Hey, Marissa. And we were all Mac buddies back in the day. So she says, hey, listen, you know, I'm doing makeup at the strip club in Queens. It's called Riviera's. Hey Riviera's, hey girls. And so, would you want to come to the strip club and do some makeup? It's cash in your pocket every night. You know, I was like, I don't know if what? Right. Like, she's like, you're gonna make $600 a night, tax free.
I'll be there.
I'll be there at night. So that was, you know, I stayed in the strip club for 2 years with the girls. Wow. And it became one of those things where, you know, you're running from the highest of the high areas of fashion to the strip club and all over again the next day. So the contrast couldn't be bigger. Yeah. But for me, I learned so much about character and just people. And I mean, I don't judge anyone ever and never have, but that was even more of a school for me, you know, to just know that, know my place, know how far you get or how high you go up that area of that ladder of prestige, seemingly. It gets real when you have to go back to the strip club that night and convince the girls and talk to them, why are you here? Right. When is your expiration date? When are you leaving?
What's your exit plan?
You know, what's your exit plan, exit strategy? So those were the dues that I paid for years, you know. And I mean, and I don't necessarily still pay dues, but I still have. I mean, I have things that challenges, like just like any other business does. So yeah, that's it.
That's amazing. You know, I always talk about that with the people that I work with, about onset etiquette. That's really big in this industry, and a lot of people do not understand that. And so, you know, that's a big lesson, you guys, especially for anybody that's aspiring to be in this industry. That it's huge for you to get on set and you get on set, you gauge it, and just have onset etiquette. I mean, it should be black and white. But
onset etiquette, it goes so much further than just behaving properly. It's also like being able to adapt. Right. So for me, you know, I'm a black guy from Buffalo, New York, and I just remember Charlotte Tilbury told me one day, I don't need you to be dressed in all black. I want you to be you. I want you to bring that light you have in. And so when she was talking to me, and
bring that light you have in.
Okay. And so when everyone else is telling you no, you need to marginalize your personality so the talent can shine. But when she says no, be yourself. I was myself. And one thing is, you don't have to sacrifice who you are to adapt. Right. So like, you know, I'm in rooms, and I hate to say this, but you know, all the time growing up in this business, where I was the only person of color. I would look to my left and to my right, day after day after day. And I mean, we're on a set, and it's at Pier 59 Studios, or these mega studios, or in London or Paris, and you see no people of color, maybe an Asian nail artist or something like that. So that can start to chip away at your psyche and feel, hey, do I need to be more like the European aspect of it all? Right. And I was like, no, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be who I am, but I'm just gonna be the best I can be, the most elevated, whoever that is. Right. So I studied how they were. I studied, you know, how Charlotte talked to the editors I paid attention to how she talked to all the editors from Vogue, from Condé Nast, from Allure, from InStyle, when they interviewed her after the show the look was created. And I just made it my own.
There it is.
So so onset etiquette just happens to be, as Beyoncé says, pulling yourself up, or basically, it doesn't matter if you're from Brooklyn or Compton, you can be aspirational as well.
When was your big break? Like the big, like, this is it. This is going to take me, you know, over the threshold to the next. I'm leaving the strip club now.
I'm leaving the strip club now. Wow. Okay. Cool. So I think I've had a series of breaks, and so I don't know if necessarily one was the biggest, but I mean, it was huge to go on tour with Beyoncé for the first time. It was huge. I remember the first time I did her makeup, I was so scared and intimidated. This was in 2010 at Tom Ford's first women's wear show. Wow. And I didn't get a call back for like 8 months, but I kept going about my business and keep doing my thing. But I know she had a really great makeup artist already. Yeah. But I want to say that, you know, working with someone who is instantly recognizable helps. I went to an agency. I went to the same agency as Pat McGrath. So I went from assisting her to being on the same agency and having the same agents between New York and London. And then I got a phone call that from L'Oreal Paris, you know, basically they were looking for a brand ambassador or someone to be, you know, whatever. And so they asked the editors at Vogue, they asked the editors at InStyle, and behind my back, I have no idea this is happening. So that's why you gotta live your life right, you know, and always be amazing to everyone, because you never know who's gonna impact your journey. Doesn't matter if they're sweeping the floor, they're gonna possibly be the
Especially if they're sweeping the floor or answering the phones.
It's character. Character is how you treat people who you don't think can do anything for you. But so they were like, Sir John, you got to check out this young guy, Sir John. So this is happening and I have no knowledge of this. So I got a phone call from L'Oreal to come in, and I had like 7 interviews for the position, but I landed the contract, and this was like 3-4 years ago. And so all these things start to accumulate, and I mean, now I have a television show on Lifetime I'm one of the producers of, and so it's one of those things where the most successful people continue to push the finish line back for themselves. So when you get to that place of like, oh my God, this is cool, this is what I wanted, you get there and you're like, but damn, I need so much other stuff. I don't have a home yet. I don't own my own cosmetics. So you keep pushing the finish line back, and hopefully if you have that drive, that inner sense of like, I gotta do more stuff, you're gonna keep propelling yourself forward.
Amazing. Were you intentional, or I guess intentful, but intentional about creating the life or manifesting the life that you have now? You know, sometimes things just kind of happen. Obviously, we heard your story, and there were just moments where just key things were in place, and you met this person, you met that person, and things happen. But along the way, and even before that, were you like back in New York, like, okay, I want that life, and I want to manifest that life. So was there intent behind all of this that we see today?
I was and am very strategic about everything. I'm a dreamer, so I dreamt of everything before I had it. I still am dreaming of The stuff that I have literally now, I was dreaming about last year. The stuff that I was dreaming about, like it's literally, if I was a superhero, and I know this might sound crazy, but I hope this can inspire somebody. If I was a superhero, I would have the power of manifestation. And it's basically being able to hold on to a thought and knowing it's coming, and then it appears in front of you. And if you really get into the whole habit of just try it with one small thing, I'm telling you guys, it's like the coolest exercise.
It's our magic. It's our magic. I always say that.
It is magic, but it becomes a thing where you just expect it. Just keep expecting it, but also don't just sit on your ass and expect it. You gotta go out there and work. And so I literally wanted to be a designer back in the day. I wanted to design women's wear. So things changed and life changed for me, and I got into this business in a completely different way, which was beauty. But the same lifestyle that I wanted for myself, I'm starting to walk into. I mean, listen, what I want for myself, I don't technically have it all yet, but I feel blessed.
You're on the way, and that's exciting because you know that there's much more life to live.
There's possibilities. And there's hope in possibility. There's hope in knowing that, hey, listen, I have this thing. It can be possible before I leave this planet. Absolutely. That's hope. And if you have that sense of hope, that's starting to manifest something.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite questions to ask in almost all of the interviews is, have you had a wow, like mama, I made it moment?
My mom is like the Prince song. She's never satisfied. Okay. She's never satisfied. She's like, oh, that's cool, but you don't have this yet. Or that's cool, but why don't you have a cosmetics brand? You're pushing everyone else's stuff. I'm like, Mom, just be happy for me right here. Like, Right. But have I had an aha moment of, Mom, I made it? I think recently, I feel so blessed to say, within the last few months, 2018 has been my year that I've actually taken ownership and saying, you know what, Sir John, pat yourself on the back. I don't think I've ever done that in my life because I've been always so hard on myself and pushing that I've never been present. Right. Because I also live by this motto of yesterday's win is yesterday's win. So my mother's like, there's so many cool things that I've done, but that was yesterday's stuff. The Romans say, don't rely on past glory. So, you can't rely on a win from yesterday because you need to look at what's happening next. Okay. So when you get into a habit of that, you can start to not be as thankful and present.
You miss the moments.
And you miss the moments. Yeah. You miss the moments. So I think this year I just signed a partnership, a 3-year partnership with a brand called Woolworths in South Africa, and Johannesburg and Cape Town. So I'm developing cosmetics for them. And then
congratulations.
I'm renegotiating my contract with L'Oreal. And if they're interested, if they bite, then it'll be, what I'm embarking on now, I've never even been able to fathom, if that makes any sense. So I think right now, I'm in a space right now where I'm just like, God, thank you. Yeah.
That's amazing. And that is a big thing, when you're manifesting and when you're living life, being present in the moment and celebrate all the little stuff. I had to learn that. You have to pause. If
it's hard though.
It's hard when you're going, and I think it also has a lot to do with, excuse me if I'm wrong, but just the way you were raised. It sounds like your mom was like, hey, what's next? Yes, what I mean? So I think that's ingrained in you. But it is important to stop and just say, oh, okay, I just did that. Yeah. That's awesome. And, keep it pushing.
Own it too, yeah, that's true, man.
Because it's a lot of people that are looking up and aspiring. Yeah. And so, it's good for us to stop sometimes and just be grateful. And that, being grateful, gratitude is the birthplace of all good things. And so, being grateful just opens up the space for more manifestations to rush in. So, what's one of your most, luxurious pastimes?
Wow. I'm a beach bum. I love water. I love the ocean. I love poolside. So if I can have, for example, I had 3 days off just before I hit another manic, crazy couple weeks. I just drove to Palm Springs and just rent a room and just stay poolside for 72 hours. Nice. So for me, that's the most luxurious thing I can do with myself is just be near water. Yeah. So that, I love a herbal refreshment every once in a while. And
you're in LA.
and also, for me, it's not about shopping or anything like that. Home interiors are very important to me. So I'm just a huge interior design person. So I design a sofa for my home, and I design. So for me, renovation projects. I would like to see things that are one way, existing, and completely different after I pay some attention to it. I had a garden when I was little. Wow. Yeah.
You are a true creator. Thanks, man. True creative. That's awesome. Okay, so beaches and etc.
Yeah.
So from all of the tours and the engagements, overseas, has any one place turned into your absolute favorite place to go?
You know, I feel like I have better interaction with people, or I get more love abroad than I do in the U.S., which is kind of fun and cool. So I mean, South Africa has been like, I met some people who work for a company, and mind you, it's a company, but the people who work for the company, I'm so attracted to on a personal, spiritual level. So I'll do anything for these guys. So for me, Cape Town, Johannesburg, I love Rio. I mean, Amsterdam, I would live in Amsterdam. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. So for me, those 4 cities are like my home.
Nice. So like I said earlier, you know, there's basically a world of aspiring artists, aspiring creatives, aspiring makeup artists out there. Do you have any advice, like maybe a key central piece of advice for any creative that would like to eventually turn their artistry into a full-time life?
Yeah, a couple of things. One is, don't take no for an answer. Don't believe in if someone gives you no, it's just like, you know, okay, that just means I can't do it with you. Right. Do you know? So I was never, when someone told me, oh, this can't be done, or you can't do this, or I was like, it went in one ear and out the other, because I'm that hard-headed. I'm like, okay, well, why? Right. And that means I'm not going to do it with you. Right. But so that, and also unfollow people who don't make you feel good about yourself. If you're following people, I mean, there's an increasing sense of anxiety and depression with millennials and younger people, because they are so attached and associated with social media, and it's not real. It's not, you're looking at something that's fiction. So if you're following only Victoria's Secret models who are getting out of the VS jet and going into their boyfriend's Bentleys, and they only have 2% body fat, and who would feel good about themselves by only following perfection? Right. Unfollow people who don't make you feel good about your journey and your state of where you are right now. Wow. And that means unfollow me for a second, just only for a little while. Unfollow me too, but only follow people who make you feel good about yourself. You don't necessarily have to mirror or keep up with their life. Like, no one needs to keep up with anybody else. If you are there's no such thing as competition. I once said this to so many people, but if you're being authentic to yourself, if you're actually only anniversarying who you were last year, or the year prior, you'll have no competition. If you're a baker, just say if you have a bakery on the street right here, or a tax attorney, and you are not looking in your next door neighbor's recipes or what they're doing right, and you're only looking how to make your secret sauce better, you'll be wildly successful. And competition will be something that will just fall away. Right. So there's so many people who do great makeup. There's so many people who do amazing hair in this business, but I'm not in the business of just hair and makeup. I'm in the business of people. And so how I make people feel is why they call me back. Like, when you make people feel great, and they'll fight for you, they'll pay your rates, or they'll fly you business, whatever that looks like, because you're a destination. So if I'm the last person someone sees if I'm the last person someone sees before she sings in front of 90,000 people at Stade de France or Wembley Stadium, or if I'm the last person the model sees, or Carly or Joan or Naomi, before they hit the runway or walk or do a photograph that's going to be on the cover story of a major magazine, my energy impacts that space. So a lot of people who are young makeup artists and hairstylists feel like, oh, I just need to go in and be nice to the talent. But no, you need to be nice to everyone in the room, because they all contribute to that project.
I think a lot of people need to unplug, and like you said, unfollow people that don't make you feel good. You know what I mean? And be nice to everybody in the room. I mean, these are things that, you know, depending on how you're raised, are kind of things that are common sense for some people and new information to others. If it's new to you, you're hearing it from someone who's, you know, a living, breathing success. So by all means.
No, but it doesn't matter how many things you get or acquire, or how, like status, like all of that doesn't mean anything. What means something is what your personal brand is really how people feel about you when you're not around. What they say about you, not what you can do, but the character of who you are, is really what's going to make you stay here and be at a premium.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm going to switch things up a little bit from the questions. This is oddly a bit of a 360 moment for me and the magazine. So I'm going to have you...
What's up?
I'm going to show you. So I'm going to have you go to 26 Magazine's Instagram. It's at 26 Magazine. And I'm going to have you scroll to our very first post. Here you go.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm scrolling. And you can't lie on the first post. Oh, oops, okay. Okay, let's see here.
That post there, the very first one.
Oh my God. That's my brother.
Isn't that crazy?
So when did this happen?
That happened, that's his brother.
This is my little brother, like same mom, same dad. This is my brother.
Like they look exactly like.
Get out of here, that's so crazy. Okay, cool. I gotta tell him this. Wow. Get out.
Isn't that wild?
That's so wild.
So wild. Trust the journey, trust the process. I'll fill you in on all of it.
Okay, cool.
The last segment of our Q&A is a small game we like to play called 26 seconds.
26 seconds.
26 seconds. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You have 26 seconds to answer them all.
Okay.
And we'll see how much you can answer.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. True or false? Is Beyonce's twin boy, Sir Carter, is his name inspired by your name?
I think you would have to ask Mr. and Mrs. Carter. I'm not sure, so I'm going to have to plead the fifth on that one.
Fair enough.
Okay, cool.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is green.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is I think melted cheese makes the world go round.
Melted cheese makes the world.
Pasta.
Fine. All right. Okay. Describe yourself in 6 words.
6 words. Okay. Stealth, creative, silent, moody, lovable, loyal.
Perfect. Got it. 26 seconds. Our top 2x6 for Sir John. 26 Magazine TV. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you for coming.
Awesome.